Hey guys, it's Justin. Got a great episode in store for you today. What would life be like without technology? Sounds scary, doesn't it? But in this episode, I'm going to share an experience with you that has changed my life. Can't wait for you to hear it. What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Justin Ford Podcast, where I'll be releasing life-changing principles and valuable information focused on all things faith, finance, family, fitness, real estate, and so much more. Let's go! What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Justin Ford Podcast. Super excited to be with you here again today. I hope you've been doing great since the last episode. And if you're loving the show, do me a favor. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button here on YouTube or your favorite podcast platform. And if you're really loving the show, go ahead and leave us a 5-star review. If you haven't followed me yet on social media, you can at The Official Justin Ford, at The Official Justin Ford. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, X, and also here on YouTube. Got a great episode in store for you today. But before we get into that, I do want to remind you that this episode is brought to you by my friends over at Next Door Lending. Next Door Lending is a team of professionals that believe everyone should be treated as if they lived next door. The founders and team members have more than 150 years of combined loan experience helping clients all over the country choose the best loan program to help you accomplish your goals. Next Door Lending is currently licensed in over 26 states and has a team of over 100 loan officers specializing in helping you get the best rate and terms. And so whether you're looking to refinance your home or you're looking to purchase your next home, call my friends over at Next Door Lending today at 888-885-3667 or visit their website at nextdoorlending.com. Got a great episode here today. It's just me. And if you listened to the episode a couple of weeks ago with my daughter Tiara and I, we talked about, our experience over at the JH Ranch back in July. Well, actually at the end of June, beginning of July, we had the chance to spend about 8 days in the mountains of Northern California. And we went on this trip because we had saw one of the agents in my EXP network a couple of years ago posted on his social media about this trip that he had taken with his daughter and how it was the greatest investment that he had made. The week that he had with his daughter and all the things that took place during that week was life-changing. And so when I saw that, I had reached out to him and asked him a little bit about it, and he told me, and I said, you know what, I need to take my daughter to that ranch. And so definitely, if you missed the episode, go back and listen to it because it was pretty phenomenal. And if you are a parent and you have a child that's 13 or older, or when they get to be 13 or older, I highly recommend looking into this ranch retreat. It was just life-changing. But what I want to do is I want to talk about something that really came out of that experience or that week that I was gone. Going into it, I knew that there would be no technology. So basically for an entire week, 7-8 days, you don't have your cell phone. Matter of fact, me and Tiara have T-Mobile, and T-Mobile couldn't even get a signal in the mountains. And initially I was like, oh my gosh, a week without my phone, not being able to communicate. What about work? What about family? What about everything? And then I remember before I left, just getting everything in order from a work standpoint, the people that work for me, just making sure everything was taken care of. And when I got there, I was actually kind of excited to unplug because I realized that life today, especially with technology, if you are, I'd say, 30 plus, 35 plus, there was a time where we didn't have technology as far as our phones, right? We didn't have apps and, smartphones and all of these things. There was a time, believe it or not, that we didn't have access to this technology or these distractions that we have today. And it's really just become a part of life where we're so consumed on our phones, with social media, with email, just constant, right? This gadget right here is like always in our hands, mostly all the time. And because of that, we, I think, are so consumed. And a lot of times, even in our downtime, a lot of times we don't take a lot of downtime because our downtime, we're actually on our phones. And so I was really excited going into that week with no technology. And what it allowed me to do was just to really get back and centered, to really think of where I am in life, where I am with my relationships, where I am with my relationship with the Lord. And it allowed me to really be in this environment, which they call a distraction-free environment, where you're unplugging and you're kind of getting back to the core of who you are and where you are in life. And it really was a phenomenal opportunity, for me to really analyze things, reflect on things, and look at what is it going to look like moving forward, when we leave this camp. And one of the things that I realized, and I recently talked about this on stage as a keynote speaker at the Glover U Live Unreal Retreat, is it's very easy in life to really miss the things that are super important because we're constantly consumed with distraction, or we're just consumed with busyness, and we're missing out on the very important things. And one of the things that I reflected on and I realized going into this week of time away with my daughter was she just graduated high school, and she's on her way to college this month, at the end of the month. And although I've been there, a lot of times I haven't been present, because even in our, let's say, time where, we're all just relaxing as a family, pretty much we're all on our phones, and we're there, but we're just really not present. We're not really, communicating or connecting on a deep level. Maybe you can relate, or maybe you've got some real strong discipline in your home where that's not the case. And I'm not saying it's always like this, but I realize that I've been on this journey of pursuing, success and, building a life for my family and growing my business and all of these things, that this week away made me realize that there were some things that were out of alignment in my life. And the only way that you can really tell that things are out of alignment, or, things are maybe out of order, not even bad things, is to take time away from distractions. And I think in life, that's very uncommon nowadays, where we just have a day or a week where we eliminate all distractions, right? No technology, no phone, no computer, no TV, to where we can just really spend time reflecting and analyzing where we are. And so what really hit home on this point for me was a couple of weeks ago, actually last month, we had a big legacy network, which is our group at EXP. We had our big meeting up in Lansing, Michigan, and we brought all of our teams together. And one of the guys that spoke, his name was Duke Gray. Duke's been on the show. You can go back and listen to his episode. He's an icon agent with EXP. He did a talk on alignment, and it really was powerful because he spoke that it's easy for us to lose our alignment in life with, maybe it's spiritually aligned, right? With our relationship with the Lord. Maybe it's our alignment with our spouse, our alignment with our kids, our alignment with our health. And we don't even really know it, because alignment doesn't just happen, or misalignment doesn't just happen overnight. It's not like we wake up one day and we're just completely off track, or we're completely out of alignment. When our alignment goes bad or starts to go off, it's very subtle, to where it's a little bit at a time, to where then all of a sudden, we either hit a point in our life or in our journey, or we get to a point where we can unplug and reflect. We're like, oh wow, how did that happen? And it's easy for us to get out of alignment because we don't really take a lot of time to just be present, even with ourselves. And a lot of times we don't even like to think or have that silent time or that alone time, because a lot of times we don't like to be with ourselves. We like to be distracted. We want to, pick up our phone. Think about it. When you go to a restaurant and you're waiting to have your order taken, next time check. Do you have your phone in your hand? Are you kind of consuming yourself or staying busy until the waiter comes to take your order? And then even if you're out to dinner with, let's say, your spouse or your significant other, are you guys both on your phone in between the time you order and the food comes out? There's a good chance you probably are, or any given time, because we don't. It's kind of weird, right? We're so used to now being consumed that we don't take a lot of time to be present, or to really have that time to connect with people on a deep level, or even with ourselves. And so it really, this week away really helped me to understand what's important and how to be present. And one of the things that the ranch had us do, and I've got it in this book right here, it's actually pretty cool, that there's this technology pledge that they had us do. Because when I left the ranch, I'm like, man, I never want to use my phone again. I want to be unplugged forever, because it felt so good. But the reality is, in the world that we live in, and it's unfortunately, we use technology and it's a part of our world. And here's one of the quotes. It says, "It's rare to be without our devices for any length of time, fueling a constant desire for entertainment and digital connections." And so we're just so it's at our fingertips, and it's in our hands, that we're just always wanting to be entertained. And there's a movie I think it's called Social Dilemma, where it talks about the dopamine that we get when we're scrolling, when we're looking for likes or comments. Like, it's a real thing. And so what they also talked about is how our kids, right? Kids that are growing up today, all they know is technology. So we know a time before where there was no technology. I mean, I remember back, like, what did I used to do when I didn't have a smartphone? What did I used to do before I had a computer? How did I keep myself entertained, right? What did I do? And it made me think back to, there was a time before I needed this phone. And one of the other things that they say is there's tension that exists between parents and children, because our children are digital natives while we are digital immigrants. And what it's referring to is, there was a time period for us that are a little bit older where there was a time where we know before technology, whereas our kids, all they know is technology. And what they were talking about is that there are, studies that are starting to prove what technology does to a kid, or to a person altogether. I remember being young where I didn't want to come home. I had to wait till the street lights came on, or I heard my dad's whistle, or I knew there was a certain, period of time where it hit 9 o'clock or whatever it was, and I had to be home. I wanted to stay out till that last minute, or try to get a little extra time. Kids don't even want to go outside today. They want to be on their video games. They want to be on their phones. They want to be on their computers or their tablets. And we've got a different world that we live in. And so I say all that to say this, that when was the last time you unplugged and really tried to figure out if you are currently aligned or out of alignment in your life? And they had us do this. It's called the Undistracted Covenant. Okay, it's right here in my hand. The Undistracted Covenant. And they had us do this before we left. And here's what it is. It says, on this day, July 5th, 2024, together as parent and child, we commit to creating undistracted time when we return home from the JH Ranch by agreeing to setting aside all technology for 1 hour a day, 1 day a week, and 1 week a year, for the purpose of developing a vision for healthy relationships, both vertically and horizontally, which is awesome. Because if we're constantly distracted and we're never getting that alone time or that quiet time, or we're never really unplugging, how are we hearing from God if we're Christians? How are we developing vision or goals or ideas if we're constantly consumed by distractions? And so it really got me thinking that, I've learned now to really be off my phone as much as I was before, to be way more present and attentive when I'm with my family, when we're watching movies, when I'm in conversation. And one of the things that I realized when I was gone for that week with no phone was I could think clearly. I didn't feel like I was consumed. I didn't feel like my thoughts were clouded. I just thought very clearly. And on that trip, there was a 2-hour drive to go to this whitewater rafting while we were there. And I sat in a car for 2 hours with no phone. And, think about being in a car that long. What do you do for 2 hours without a phone? Well, you think, right? You think about life. You think about where you are. That's all you can really do. And again, I remember the times before technology where that was life. And we're only in this 20-year window, let's say 20, little over 20 years of technology, when all the years previous to that in history, there was no technology. There were no distractions like this. And so this episode is really just to encourage you, or to really get you thinking about it, because I think we've gotten so consumed and so in the flow that this is the new norm, that we're just going through the motions, that I think we all know there's a problem, but none of us are really doing anything about it. And so I want to encourage you, maybe take some time to where you set your phone aside for 1 hour a day, 1 day a week, or 1 week a year. Be intentional. The next time you go on a family vacation or you go out of town, put your phone away and lock it up, put it somewhere, and really be present and enjoy the moment. Because what I've realized is I've wasted a lot of time scrolling, doing a bunch of stuff that really doesn't give any type of meaning or return of the time that you're spending doing it. Now, don't get me wrong, there's some good communication and things that you can do. But if you really think about the amount of time that you spend every day, every week, every month, and every year frivolously scrolling, commenting, clicking the like button, posting, whatever, what are we exchanging for that? Well, I think we're missing out on a lot of time that we could be present. And if you got kids like myself, one day they're going to leave. One day they're going to go to college. One day they're going to get married, and you can never get that time back. And so it's definitely got me thinking about a lot of things, and it's definitely caused me to make some changes in my life. I hope this episode encouraged you. And if it has, reach out, leave a comment below on any of the social media platforms that this might be posted on. Again, we use social media for everything. Or you can reach out to me, shoot me a message. Feel free to shoot me an email, justin@justinfordteam.com. I'd love to hear from you. If you want some more information on the JH Ranch, I'd be happy to share that with you, or you can go Google it. Best investment that I've ever made, best week of my life with my daughter. It was incredible. Go back and listen to the episode. We go really in depth and into detail about that. And yeah, it's definitely important to be intentional when it comes to stuff like this, because hopefully, like me, you want to be aligned in all of these areas of your life so you can experience the best of your life. And so that's it, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode. Feel free to share it with some friends or some family members. Hopefully it spoke to you. Hopefully, it kind of challenges you to unplug and really start thinking, because there's nothing wrong with thinking to think. It's something that I think we all need. So, guys, this episode, I do want to remind you, was brought to you by and is brought to you by my friends over at Next Door Lending. Next Door Lending is not just a sponsor of our show. They're the preferred lender of the Justin Ford Real Estate Team. All of our buyers that we work with, we trust with Next Door Lending. They have a perfect A+ Better Business Bureau rating, over 1,000 5-star reviews. If you're a buyer and you're looking to purchase a home this year and you need to get pre-approved, call my friends over at Next Door Lending. If you are currently a homeowner and looking to take some equity out of your home and refinance, call my friends over at Next Door Lending. And if you're a real estate agent looking to partner with an incredible mortgage lender, call my friends over at Next Door Lending today at 888-885-3667, or visit their website at nextdoorlending.com. 2 things I always like to leave you with. Number 1, it's not how you start. What matters is how you finish. And number 2, with God, all things are possible. God bless you guys. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next one.